This is Joe. Today we are doing that walking podcast thing through the most amazing part of the most amazing city on the planet. None other than New York's Times Square. The amazing Henry, our engineer, is following along with all kinds of cables and gears to facilitate this effort. Henry, did you notice the shape of that parking garage we finally found on the Upper West Side up there? Kind of looked like a pyramid, huh? It was full of those unusual amount of DeLorean type vehicles. Really strange. Must be some convention in town or something. Okay, here comes someone we can interview. Looks like a kid on some sort of Segway-like thing. Except no wheels. Hey, it must have been in a hurry or something. Well, I guess we'll just make our way to... Henry, check out that poster over there. Look at what it says. Experience the outer vortex in style. Ride the Reaganomizer. Watch the people run. Huh? The Reaganomizer? I don't even know how to pronounce that. I guess it must be some sort of amusement park or look up. Oh, okay. Jeez, I'll be dogged. There's a giant flying head just above the buildings up there. Look at that. And well, there's another. What's that, Henry? Looks like Ronald Reagan. Look at the face. Oh, yeah. Blimps? I don't think so. They're moving way too fast for that. Yeah, it's the strangest thing. Maybe there's some news story about this. Check out that newsstand, Henry. Let's go over there.
Our hopes and your destiny is our destiny. The strength of America's allies is vital to the United States.
Well, look at that. New York Times. Big headline says, "No news today." And below, just watch this space on a blank white page. Wow, must have run out of ink or something. And yeah, I can only think that the press just broke down and fizzled out. It says it's, today's date up there. Look at that, July 2024. Well, that makes just about as much sense as a tin man driving a taxi cab. What the... Henry, did you see that? I think I just actually saw a tin man driving it. Man. I'm not sure about this place anymore. Well, anyway, let's just go in and eat. We'll just try this place. We're here, and it looks like a lunch counter or something. I'm hungry. See, it says the sign, Obama Death Panel Bar and Grill. What? Okay, the smaller print says it's the Obama Death of Disco Panel and Grill. Okay, I don't care. I'm just hungry. Let's try it. Oh, look, Henry, it's a dance floor. And that creepy Uncle Sam we've been seeing on those TV commercials. He's up there in the booth above the dance floor. Okay, tell you what, this deserves investigation. You go dance, and I'm gonna interview Sam up there. It might be good for the podcast. Howdy, I'm Joe. Wow, look at all the controls in here. Strange. It says urgent care facility for older white folks that still can't dance. What's that all about?
We'll shrink them down and inject them directly into the music center of the brain.
Hundreds of reports from around the globe tonight.
Severe atmospheric disturbance, disruption of broadcast transmission.
Television, radio, even parts of the internet are affected.
It's the No Joe Schmo Joe Castic podcast. Howdy, folks. Yep, this is the big number 3. We just do these things reflexively these days. I'll tell you, I was in to see the doctor and he hit my knee with one of them little rubber triangle hammer things, and out came a podcast. He was really amazed when that happened too. This is the 3rd podcast where Frodo finally throws that ring back into the Matrix Revolutions despite the revenge of the Sith. But trust me, so far these close encounters have truly been of the 3rd kind. Now I ask you, if you have a choice between taking advantage of Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, which would you choose? Well, in all the recent surveys I've seen, the people's choice is clearly with the Affordable Care Act. So I say that Obama should just throw in the towel on this one and say, hey, folks, hey, Mr. John Boehner, you win. We'll sponsor our own bill to repeal Obamacare and just go with the Affordable Care Act from here on out. You win, you got the show, you got what you wanted all these times, and bingo, there. We've just accomplished what the U.S. Congressional House of Representatives couldn't do in more than 45 attempts to repeal Obamacare. See, compromise works, folks. Them stuffed suits up there in D.C. land should just try it sometime, don't you think? Okay, so let's see what the ACA really does and how it's paid for and all that. We'll take a little look at it, but I think this slice represents the whole thing, frankly. So, eliminates pre-existing conditions? Well, that right there, folks, will lead to higher unemployment because, this will put all those claims adjuster hitmen out of business. The ones who would go into your high school nurse medical notes to discover you had a case of the doo-wops way back when, which obviously led to your jowls dragging along the floor at age 40. So that's no good. I mean, what other line of work will these dudes do? Many were already ex-IRS hitmen after working for the mob and all, so what else are they going to do? I mean, you don't want them driving up and down the street, running ice cream trucks now. I mean, geez, that'd be strange. Okay, next little thing we'll look at here is that young adults can stay on their parents' plan until age 26. Oh, great. Fantastic. Now all that effort to straighten out all those young punks will backfire. I think we can just look for all those rebels without a cause drag race nights up there at the cliffs to get going again if they aren't already. Because, hey, now that they're back on Big Daddy's insurance plan and all, so, hey, Tommy and Bobby, start your engines. Okay, let me see. Ending gender discrimination. What? I mean, how's that going to help anything? Dudes usually don't work in kitchens around all that hot grease and flaming pans and stuff. And women, getting into all those Friday night mud wrestling matches and all, not to mention they have babies puking in their face half the time. I mean, man, a woman's life is 50 times more dangerous than a man's. So how are the insurance companies going to possibly make ends meet? And how are they going to pay for all this anyway? Tanning salons? Yep, they're going to start taxing tanning salons more. What do they want me to do? Go out and lay around in the sun or something? And I suppose they'll come bail me out when the neighbors call in the cops, right? Again, on that public lewdness crap, Okay, listen, folks. I think we better start a movement to repeal the ACA right here and now. Or else, hey, the next time your kids go out skateboarding, well, those jump ramps might be made of, well, something else again. Perish the thought. And oh yeah, speaking about paying for stuff and all, those 1.3 trillion so-called tax expenditures, loopholes actually, just a tiny micro portion of which could be closed to pay for this thing several times over. I mean, let's get real, folks. Make Exxon and those Wall Street speculators do a 0.5% give back just so that the Americans can get on the road, back to getting regular checkups and your basic non-emergency room health care. I mean, come on, people. What do you think this is? A socialist country like Sweden? I suppose the next thing we'll demand is free public education for grade schoolers or something. I mean, sheesh. In other news, wow, okay, just scanning through the headlines today makes me wonder what the heck they are adding to the water now. Oh, okay, this explains it. The following here is from the Daily Mirror over in the UK at mirror.co.uk, but here goes anyway. See if you can figure this stuff out. I see some of it is for the U.S. too, so it's not just over there. Poltergeist suspected of ransacking house turns out to be a woman on a meth rampage. Okay, well, they're talking about my neighbor over there, I guess. Let me see. It's close to home. Watch twerking grannies join Miley Cyrus craze as they're invited to perform on American TV. Yeah, okay, so much for American TV, I guess. That's why people don't watch it anymore, I guess. Okay, daredevils juggle and unicycle on poles above deadly 30-meter drop. Well, wait a minute now, 30 meter, isn't that like 1.5 foot? I mean, how could that? I guess if they were real delicate daredevils, I guess. Okay. Couple caught having sex on roof of Mexican restaurant carried on despite cops arriving. Okay, well, that right there begs a question. And it's like, what were those cops doing after they arrived? And the other question is, I haven't had Mexican food in a long time. Man, I got to start having more of that. Okay, here's a good one. Vagina selfie. Now, a selfie is where, you take a picture of yourself. Vagina selfie artist arrested for making her privates available for 3D printing download. Huh. How could arrested for... Okay. Oh, man. I guess it's a good thing that Anthony Weiner didn't try that sort of thing. Boy, that would have been the end of Western civilization, I suppose. Buried alive 6 shocking times. People have woke from the dead, terrifying friends and family. Buried alive 6 shocking times. What's the definition of insanity? It's like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Horrifying moment. Dead body strapped to stretcher falls out of coroner's van onto busy road. Well, hey, we're probably just coming from that Obamacare death panel facility right there. Yoga coach surprise baseball players by turning first pitch into a striptease. Wow, that puts 2 American pastimes together, doesn't it? Actually, maybe 3. Yoga, baseball, and, Okay, now here's one I had to read like maybe 5 times and I still don't understand it. Maybe you can help me out with this, folks. Steven Spielberg targeted by confused trolls after Facebook picture with dead triceratops. Let me run this through, let me run this through you again. As it did through me when I read it. Steven Spielberg targeted by confused trolls after Facebook picture with dead triceratops. Okay, maybe I'm just getting old or something, but frankly, okay, anyway. Russian businessman calls ambulance twice after sex with Bolshoi ballerina Bakatufar Salmanov was left with intense back pain after romps with world-famous Anastasia Volchikorov. Russian businessman calls ambulance twice after sex with Bolshoi ballerina. The dude here in this case, man, I gotta connect with him. I have really got some advice for him. I would say, don't start at the top like that. Don't even go with a Cirque du Soleil woman there. You try, go with drop down some. How about go with an ice skater or something first and then work your way up. Okay. Here's one that's got a photo with it. Regretfully, I might add, pictured. X-rated cloud shaped like penis above roadway leaves motorists laughing. Okay, well, looking at the photo here, sure. Even cloud giants got to have their fun. I mean, maybe there was a conjunction in Virgo that day or something. Give them a little privacy, man. I know I say look up a lot, but maybe not in that case. And then finally we got It's a Miracle. Chef finds God in aubergine while slicing vegetables. Okay, I guess an aubergine is some kind of weird name for an eggplant. She's Brits just should learn how to speak English one day. I mean, come on, say it what it is. And if you look at it, yeah, if you squint and turn your head sideways, sure enough, it's a picture of either God or Charles Manson right there. I can't tell which in this case, especially these days. Boy. She's from another galaxy.
Let's play Golden Fruits.
And she's here for the jazz.
Roger that.
Okay, for the weird segment today, I just got to footnote this. I wasn't going to at first, but I just got to say, no, I am not advocating devil worship or some sort of other weird fantasy like that, okay? But this is just interesting now. Follow along with me. Some would say that the best evidence for intelligent extraterrestrial life is us. Yep, you and me. Look no further than your bathroom mirror. The one who walks around and looks up at the sky and the ones who are asking about all this stuff. For those of us that can get beyond the Bronze Age stories, or even for those that can't, this may be of interest. That state-of-the-art genetic research has recently pulled up something, well, flatly remarkable and equally undeniable. Now, you may have noticed that we human folk are different from all the other critters that go scampering around. Sure you have. Sure you've noticed that. For better or for worse, we make stuff, we dress up in stuff, we create stuff. And then even, we make stuff that even flies us around the sky. Sure, there are gibbons in South America that fish out ants with sticks, but that's about as far as a thing goes for animals that use tools. And while you may consider that beer-drinking mugwump next door to be an animal at times, I think you would find that his garage is full of shiny sockets and sprockets that no monkey would ever dream of using, and that basset hound would only, turn his head sideways if he even looked at it. So for those that are interested in a low conspiracy theory dose of straight science about all this, check out the May 3rd, 2012 report in eurekaalert.org titled Extra Gene Drove Instant Leap in Human Brain Evolution. Okay, if you just go to the big Google and type in extra human gene, I think this will come up, the same article, under a number of different websites, but the eurekaalert.org listing, I think, will be there near the top. While there is no direct evidence of extraterrestrial influence, at one very specific point in our history, there appears to have been a hyper-major derailment in the normal course of development. That is, well, here are some excerpts, okay? A partial duplicate copy of a gene appears to be responsible for critical features of the human brain that distinguish us from our closest primate kin. The momentous gene duplication event occurred 2 or 3 million years ago at a critical transition in the evolution of human lineage, according to a pair of studies published online in the journal Cell. A Cell press publication on May 3rd, 2012. Now, folks, please know that the journal named Cell is polar opposite from those other, from those wacko manifests that are out there. This is a big-wig, critical, hardcore science publication here that most scientists treat like those pre-humans treated the obelisk in Clarke's 2001 Space Odyssey, i.e. a thing of extreme, nothing to laugh at, let's put it that way. To continue, the studies are the first to explore the evolutionary history and function of any uniquely human gene duplicate. These extra genes are of special interest because they provide likely sources of raw material for adaptive evolutionary change. This copy acts at exactly the same time and place as the original, allowing it to interact and block ancestral gene functions. Interestingly, the novel gene appears to have arisen just as the fossil record shows a transition from the human Australopithecus ancestor to the genus Homo, as in Homo sapiens, which led to modern humans. That's also when the brains of our ancestors began to expand and when dramatic changes in cognitive abilities are likely to have emerged. If this gene duplication did indeed produce an immediate effect during evolution, as Eschler and Pollux suspect, the two guys who wrote this, they expect there must have been a fascinating period in human history characterized by a huge variation in human cognition. We may have been looking at the wrong types of mutations to explain human and great ape differences, Eschler says. These specific and large duplication events could have allowed for a radical, potentially earth-shattering changes in brain development and brain function. Now, what does all this mean? It appears to be saying that virtually overnight we changed. Could this have? Now, I'm asking you this. This raises the question: could this have occurred without external intervention of some sort? Most scientists, I believe, would tell you that such a question is inconclusive, but some would say no. It could not have occurred without some external stimulus of some kind or intervention of some kind. Of course, the creationists have jumped all over this, saying that, see, we told you, this can only mean one thing, that God, he created her or breathed her. So don't you say we didn't tell you. That's basically, to sum it up there. I've been through several of their sites. But now, as par for the course in modern technical times, it turns out that much of science fiction ends up turning into fact. Whether it's through inspiration or some kind of beyond time visionary capacity for exo-information that may be latent within us all, who knows? But now we're all the way up to 2014, it just might do us all some good to read or reread author C. Clarke's Childhood's End. This tale encompasses an interesting concept, one in which the so-called overlords are part of the peace-preserving force that prevents Earth people from blowing themselves up to smithereens, so that, well, spoiler alert, so that the seeds of consciousness that were sown millions of years previous can finally be harvested. Now, this is such an interesting story. Actually, Stanley Kubrick was in discussion with Arthur C. Clarke to make a film about this before they decided to just make 2001: A Space Odyssey. So this was actually the first choice. As to why they went the other direction, I really don't know. Could be because this particular story would go up against, the norms. So anyway, if you're interested in visionary sci-fi that just may have some connection to the truth, you may owe it to yourself not to miss Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End. So all this begs the question, in my view, whether or not we were pushed out into the fast track of extreme cognitive development. If so, or in any case, would you reckon that development is just stopped with the 20th and 21st century? And if this continues, as logic would postulate, would you suppose that, where do you suppose we will go from here? Now, for the answer, maybe, just maybe, we could look at that Bronze Age creation story I referred to earlier. Just like the change overnight thing of evolutionary development, might we have at least a reflection of this in the Genesis story of the tree, the snake, and the apple? Question mark, question mark, question mark. That suddenly our little booties were kicked from the garden just because we did what? Eat from the tree of the knowledge? And what did we specifically eat? The fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, now don't start hitting me over the head with Bible quotes, please. While I don't readily accept that the total of these mythic stories were any kind of direct transmission from the big guy, I do find that some of the symbolism contained within to be provocative, to say the least. The fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, for a moment, let's take a look at this in logical terms. When you say that there is the fruit of something, like the fruit of one's labor, basically this refers to the impact or effect caused by some other action or result, right? So the fruit of any knowledge would be none other than a realization post some event. Okay, so what was being realized, or to put it differently, what was materialized at this instant? Well, it was the result of knowledge of dualism, specifically good and evil. But I personally believe that just to take a better look at this, you could fit any pair in there, if for no other reason, just to drop the moralistic shroud for one moment. You could fit you and me, day and night, pleasure and pain. It all amounts to a deeper experience of what it is to be a conscious being, and perhaps a level of dualism or dualistic thinking that is required to develop the kind of analytic skills that it takes to become the tool-handling, seed-planting, civilization-building creatures that we are today. So from this point of view, some of the other strange symbols and connotations in that thing called the Bible start to make sense, at least to me. Okay? The snake or the serpent, which in many other ancient cultures is a symbol of the connected nervous system of the spine, tempts Eve with the fruit of the tree of knowledge that separate our species from the garden common to all other creatures. And in other words, if you want to think this way, puts us on a different evolutionary course from those other creatures in the garden. And that course, which of course we tend to muck up from time to time, so bad that at some point the big dude sends down his son to set everything right. So, the question, would there have been a need for a Christ if there was no serpent to begin with? And why do you suppose the literal translation of the word Lucifer is the light bearer, or, to the Romans specifically, the bringer of light? At least this is something to consider, don't you think?
Only you can prevent galaxy fires.
Play that Rickenbacker clip.
As you wish.
Hold on. We have a special announcement to make. This is the new advice column that many have suggested that we do. So here it is. I'm going to let my Uncle Ned take over the reins from here. He's so much better at giving advice than me. So, what's that? Oh, okay. Henry just reminded me that in our last podcast, directly before airing Uncle Ned's interview with David Lee Roth, I said that Uncle Ned died a happy man. Well, he did, but I just discovered that, just like the dead coming back in that story we did earlier, he came back. Yeah, it was a miracle. You see, Aunt Shirley was cutting up vegetables in the kitchen one sunny day, and she happened to slice open an eggplant. Then sure enough, there was a picture of Jesus right there, seeds for the eyes and the whole thing. Then wouldn't you know it, right then and there, Ned comes busting in right through the door, shouting out, "Let's have hot dogs today. Let's have hot dogs today." And the rest is history. So here it goes. This is the first incarnation of my Uncle Ned's advice column. We're going to call this segment, "Is Uncle Ned Dead?" And then let you figure out the rest.
Ned's not dead.
Well, hi. I shouldn't talk yet. Wait, I just have. It takes me a while to get settled in. Hey, folks. Yeah, this is Joe's Uncle Ned. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for the introduction here. I appreciate it. See, after you live so many years, what happens is that you end up just storing up all this advice. They think it's like an extra thigh or this double roll over your belt, but that's actually advice just waiting to come out. And, excuse me, folks, I got to do a flagellant. Wait a minute. Okay, thanks. Oh, wow, that's better. That was probably some more advice right there. Okay, now, the advice I got to give everybody is, this goes for old dudes especially here, because you might have noticed that, as you get older, I don't know why, but, you're a happily married man and all that stuff, but all these young ladies start coming up and asking you to do something, asking you to do stuff, and then they bend over and whoa, look at that. So you got all these, temptations, going around and it just gets worse, boy, as time goes on. So this little bit of advice might just save you from having to, live in the doghouse for a while or be whopped over the head with a pan or by the woman that you've been happily married to for 30 some odd years. So you can thank me later. I'm especially thanked by $10 bills. I'm joyously thanked by Franklin's there. So I just want you to know, cash only, please, cash. So here it is, folks. Now, young ladies are going to be a lot smarter than you. They always are, So when they start, coming after you, what you want to say here, you can't, anything that you say, they're going to turn around on you. I'm going to say, well, thanks, but I'm a happily married man. And they're going to say, well, I'm married too. And then you're going to be at a loss for words. So, or are you going to say, anyway, there's a whole bunch of things that they could just turn right around on you. So here's one thing that you can say. All right. Keep it to yourself. This is a secret trick here that they just cannot turn around on you, So this is going to cure everything and make you a much, much happier guy in one respect anyway. So here's what you got to do. You say, well, thanks, honey, but I'm wearing underwear. It's older than you are. And then they're going to say, okay, I'll see you later. And then that'll be the end of that. Okay. So let's practice this together. I mean, you can get it in front of the mirror. Oh, also I forgot, I left one part out. You should offer a little bit of a kind of a gross old guy laugh at the end of that. So let's all practice this together. We're going to throw in the laugh at the end. Okay. Are you ready? So here you go. Well, honey, and I want all you guys to follow along. Well, honey, I'm wearing underwear older than you are. Don't forget that last tag in part with the laugh, okay? So thank me later. It'll make your life much better. So, I'll tune in for the next blogcast, and I'm gonna leave you with one more bit of advice, guys out there. Don't let your meat loaf, okay? See you later. Bye-bye.
Ned's not dead.
Is the show really over?
Well, there goes another one, just like the other one. I want to thank my Uncle Ned, who's freshly back. I've heard a rumor that what he's going to talk about the next time is advice about when you have that near-death experience and go through the tunnel and all. What's that, Ned? Near-death? Oh, yeah, it wasn't near. Right, but you're back. Okay, it wasn't. Okay. Well, however that works out, I'm sure Ned's going to have a lot of interesting stuff to say the next time. And visit us at joecastic.com. Feel free to make any of the comments on any of the pages. Who knows? Something we may just talk about on the podcast itself. So we want this to be interactive, and we want you to take care and just keep looking up. But not too far up, because then you might go stumbling over the trash cans as you go along. We wouldn't want that, because not everybody has this Obamacare insurance now. So you take care, and we'll be talking at you again soon. Thanks very much, folks. Bye-bye.
Comes out nice and wiggly like.
Delicious.
Visit joecastic.com.